This is how you share your games on PS4.
It's my birthday.
Thanks.
PlayStation.
Hey everybody. PlayStation set the internet on fire last Wednesday when they released this notice. Quote, in response to shifting trends and consumer preference, new games will be released on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital format only. In other words, they are ending physical distribution of games. This isn't unique to them, it's just another in a series of pushes towards the end of game ownership and the end of alternatives for gamers like yourselves to buy games at, or making basic decisions like, for example, let's say that you're not so sure about a recent release right now, and it's $70. Like let's say, for example, 007 First Light, which I reviewed and found to be kinda mid for a $70 purchase, but a pretty decent catch at a smaller price. With physical media, you always have the option of just chilling out and waiting. Eventually, prices go down when it comes to discs. Also, in the free market, stores are allowed to do whatever sales they want to do, which are both W's for customers. Without physical media, there is no such thing. Prices are set and kept intact for years if need be. It's all down to the publisher choice. And if you're stuck on PlayStation or Xbox, you don't even have other avenues of digital stores. You only have one, the PlayStation Store or the Xbox Store. This is something that these companies have been mad about for years, and they think that by erasing physical media and thereby erasing game ownership plus alternatives, they're going to suddenly make you buy every single one of their launches at full price, rather than the far more realistic situation, which is you never buying them at all unless they cave and throw their games into deep sales. This is also not the first move PlayStation has made against physical media. They also launched the PS5 Pro without a disc tray. Remember when the PS5 came out and people were questioning what the hell were they doing with a digital-only console option, but ultimately it didn't matter that much since it was just an option. Well, now that option is also coming to an end. PS5 Pro released at $700 in November of 2024. Now, 1 year and a half later, it is priced at $900. If you wanted a disc drive to be able to read discs on all the games you already spent your hard-earned money on, you'd need another $80. And because Sony produced so little of these, they ended up getting scalped and are still hard to get these days, raising the price of a PS5 Pro with a disc drive even further. This is the reality right now, and we can already expect the PS6 situation to be even worse, especially as PlayStation is now pushing to completely end physical manufacturing and distribution. I've seen some morons defending this by saying physical media doesn't matter anyway, at least to them, because they haven't bought a physical game in forever. I've seen some say it's cumbersome, like I don't know how, it's literally just a game case. I've also seen people say that discs are bad, and they've had their games ruined and money wasted because of scratches, which I literally have no idea how either. You have to live in a pigsty and be totally careless to scratch these discs to the point where they can't even install the contents of the games. So basically I see these takes and I immediately think they're corporate bots. That's it. Can't explain it any other way. Then of course I also saw Sony soy boys and Xbox soy boys defending this, because of course they would, they always do, they defend everything. What was somewhat unexpected but at the same time not very surprising either was seeing Asmongold defending this, or whatever the that was, as if physical media doesn't matter because nobody buys it, and that's also why it's gone now.
There's a lot of people on the internet that care a lot about physical media, and they care so much about it that they never buy it. And any of these people that are talking about how much they love video games and buying video games, I want you to show me the last 10 video games you bought, and I want you to show me the box that you bought them in.
The thing with him is that he often likes to do this kind of thing, where he's gleefully talking about how it's gone and how it's deserved because nobody cares, nobody buys these, so of course this would happen, and he likes to hide this behind pragmatism, behind something just being what it is. But it doesn't make what he's saying any less wrong. It doesn't make what he's saying be any less of a defense for a bad decision that is being done out of greed, not out of some, oh, I guess gamers don't want these anymore, even though we clearly f***ing do. It's like betting for microtransactions. Why, I guess we'll just keep adding these to video games because gamers clearly want to keep paying more money for stripped out content. It's like, what are you doing? Like, what is this? Is this residual retardation from wearing that Pride shirt throughout all of June? What else are you going to say? That Dragon Age Veilguard is a 7 out of 10? Oh, yeah, he did say that. This was an abysmal take. It's not only wrong by what he said alone, but it's also extremely short-sighted. Not only was physical media very important for us to have a hand in balancing the market from our side as customers, but it was also not why it was removed. Like, what do you mean nobody buys them? You don't buy them because you're on PC. You've been on PC for decades, but PCs are not consoles. This was one of the positive points to having a console, and now there are none, as I intend to prove with this video. Furthermore, while digital adoption did go up throughout the years, physical media still represented millions of sales worldwide, and again, it represented a handle on the market. The sure mark of a fool is to revel joyfully as yet another piece of gaming's DNA is ripped away from it, alongside one more piece of our purchase power. But anyway, we'll get to all that in a bit. The main point is that, in the midst of all this, it made me wonder, what the hell is even the point of owning a console anymore? There's just no point to them at all when you really think about it. That was it. That was the last bastion. What? Price? Consoles are super expensive right now. There's also been buzz that Sony will not be selling future consoles at a loss anymore. Wanna know why, by the way? Because they're selling less games. They used to sell their consoles at a loss because they could make up the price by having a lot of people buying the console and buying a lot of games, not only just from them, but in general, for their PS5s and PS4s, etc. Wanna know why they're selling less games? Because their own game quality has gone down, as has many of the game quality within the top publishers in the industry. So price? Consoles are very expensive now, and they're going to get even more expensive with the PS6. One may as well invest on a PC for a little bit of extra money, and for multiple reasons that I'll get into in a bit. Exclusives? Again, during this last generation there has been a decline in quality and originality with our first-party games, including on Xbox. So what's the point? Also, nobody ever mentions this, but PC has exclusives too, in the form of indie games from very talented small studios or independent developers who release their games on PC because they're not big enough or have enough capital to put them on PlayStation yet. And the games range from nice surprises to sometimes straight up brilliant ones. But never mind that, because honestly this isn't an exclusive dick measuring contest. This is a service contest. And in that, the consoles have pretty much driven the last nails on their coffins with this decision, one in a series of many nails over the past few years, which have made the ecosystems of Xbox and PlayStation be exponentially more expensive than investing on a PC. Their service to you as players is so terrible, so anti-consumer, and frankly so useless, so devoid of any features that it can offer as a boon to its users over other platforms, that there's nothing worth sticking around for. So let's get into it, and in advance, sorry for the audio on this one. I'm recording it late at night because it's been way too hot during the day over here. All PlayStation has done over the last decade is take. I never was really locked into any platform. Console wars were cringe back then, and they're even stupider now, as the ones engaging in them are grown-ass adults. Seriously, it's pathetic. When I was little, I was given the PlayStation, then I was given an Xbox 360, then I sold it plus all games I had to buy a PS4. The PS4 was the first console I actually made an informed choice to buy with my own money, and a part of it was actually offering quality exclusives. Games that felt different from what other studios were offering, but all that is gone now. The quality and originality of the exclusives has gone down severely. There really isn't anything that I feel like I'm missing out by not having a console. PlayStation and honestly Xbox too, their first-party games feel like they're not being made for us anymore, and they're not really taking risks or coming up with anything new. These companies are off gallivanting trying to appeal to new modern audiences, so as far as the argument of but there's the exclusives goes, it's pointless. We'll revisit this point later in the video to see just how pointless it is and how little they offer. But at the time when the PS4 was the new thing, yes, they mattered to me, far more than what Xbox was doing. But the number one thing that solidified that purchase for me was this video.
This is how you share your games on PS4. Thanks.
PlayStation.
That video was made by PlayStation to mock Xbox because Xbox was flirting with the idea of having DRM built into their system to the degree where you wouldn't be able to get used games on it. There'd be alternatives to, for example, share your game library with your family or whatever, but let's face it, who gives a shit about that? What gamers wanted was the ability to take their games to their friends' places and play them, vice versa, and also to be able to engage in the buying and selling of used games the same way that it had always been possible. This was only one of Xbox's terrible decisions during the Xbox One reveals. There was other garbage like forcing the Kinect with a console. PlayStation nuked the Xbox out of the competition by having one simple core value, and that was that the players should come first. Player preference above all else. Even though, to be fair, they also had employed new garbage that wasn't very pro-player either, such as charging for the ability to play online, just like the Xbox had been doing for years with Xbox Live Gold on the 360. Still, the majority of the decisions during the PS4 generation were the correct ones. Players first, not just in what to provide with the console and the service within, but also in the first-party exclusives that they were making. It remained this way until the Dark Ages, which is around 2018 or so, where PlayStation started to slowly but surely change a few little things and kick up the prices of other things, including making the major push towards $70 games back in 2020. Oh, some people get mad at me for mentioning PlayStation in this $70 game thing, because at the time, some sports game like NBA 2K or NHL or whatever the was the actual first to make a standard copy be sold at $70. But I don't care about who was first. I care about who supported it and made it a thing. I care about the leader. NBA 2K also turned their games into online casinos. You don't see that across the board, do you? Xbox last year made Doom Dark Ages $80. You didn't see an industry-wide adoption, did you? Hell, even Xbox themselves backpedaled and released their next major game after that, The Outer Worlds 2, at $70. This is because you can't just be some random douchebag and kick up the price. You have to have clout, you have to have a name, you have to have status within the industry. You need to have weight. And at that time, PlayStation, coming out of dominating that generation and announcing that their future first-party exclusives would be $70 was a big deal. The golden excuse to make everyone else follow the leader and make it stick. Same as what's happening right now with the removal of disk drives from consoles and the killing of physical distribution. They're working in tandem. PlayStation puts out the news that they're dropping physical discs, and Xbox comes out with the news that the next console won't even have a fucking disc tray. This is the theme of the video, because it's the theme of their actions. Less service for us, less savings, less value, less of what we want to play, less surprises to make us smile and feel like we made the right choice to invest into buying into the ecosystem, be that PlayStation or Xbox, and just more money. Oh, on that note, they got us covered, boys. Charges for online? Don't mind if they do. Hike up the price of the subscription? Don't mind if they do, multiple times. Remove the old system and create a new one with various tiers under new names and higher prices? Oh shit, don't mind if they do. PlayStation Plus became PlayStation Plus Essential with 2 extra tiers at far higher prices for streaming and other boons. Xbox Live Gold became Game Pass Core, with the same addition of 2 higher tiers, and discounts to buy into these subscriptions? Gone, unless you were upgrading to the next tier, so that even when you were taking advantage of a discount, you couldn't actually pay less, you would end up still spending more money monthly than you were before. These are just a small window for you guys to gaze into PlayStation's many scams over the last few years. Tiny little scams, little nuggets of punching you in the face. And why? Because more money for us, less service for you. Does Asmongold still want to make this about not enough people buying physical media? The system was fine for years. For years they had these little dealings with distribution companies and even with game stores so that everybody gets a piece of the pie, and now suddenly it's unviable because not everybody is buying the goddamn games physically? Come on, man. Wake the fuck up. Scams that made me reluctant to get a PS5, but that I got anyway because number one, it was the only thing I had available to me at the time. The idea of getting a PC was it was such a faraway dream that I couldn't even process it. I was that broke. I mean, it was during COVID and everything. I basically had no money, fellas. And number two, because I didn't know any better. And like an idiot, I still believe that, I don't know, these recent bad decisions would have been left behind as the PS5 generation improved and became as exciting and gamer-centric as the PS4 generation. I was hoping that whoever the it is that they fired and replaced with the moron that was making these decisions would get fired soon. But of course that didn't happen. I was wrong. It just became so much worse. The little things I saw and thought were just momentary fumbles grew and multiplied into some of these that I just told you about now, and even more of them, all laid across me like a pattern, a clear goddamn pattern of decisions, big and small, all leading towards the same shit end, that you will own nothing and be happy. And boy, is it all getting so much worse as we move forward towards the next generation with the PS6. And so, at the end of it all, what's the point of owning a console anymore? What's the point of sticking to these overpriced ecosystems? Again, the games cost more money on them than they do on Steam or other alternatives on PC. If you want to merely have access to cloud saves, you gotta pay a subscription. If you want to buy a multiplayer game, like say Battlefield 6, you're not only shelling out $70 for the game, you're also paying a subscription so you can be allowed to play the game online that you already paid for. This is something that the console fanboy cannot comprehend, that you should be able to buy your multiplayer game and play it online, you know, with multiple players at no extra cost. Because no, PlayStation and Xbox aren't paying for the game's servers, they aren't paying for a singular damn thing. They're just fleecing you monthly payments so you can unlock an arbitrary padlock that they put there. You know when you go into the free-to-play tab and there's online games there for free, like for example Rocket League or Fortnite? Yeah, those are supposed to be free-to-play, not $10 for an online subscription to unlock. This is the kind of thing I've always felt was shady and anti-consumer, but I didn't make a fuss about it because, well, way back then it was like $6 or $7. This was a long time ago, boy. Besides being cheaper, it was also like, okay, well, I paid $400 for the console, and sometimes the service offers a couple of decent video games, so that's fine. It's okay. It's alright, you know, it's okay. Now though, the consoles keep getting more and more expensive, you're obliterating not only the fucking physical market, but you're also taking my goddamn library of games on disc that I already own, and you are turning them all into paperweights because you don't even want to launch consoles with disc trays unless I chip in another $100 or $200 fucking dollars. Are you kidding me? What's the point of continuing with console? At this point, it's just a paying ritual. You want to play a game? There's a fee. You want cloud saves? There's another fee. You want to take a shit? There's another fee, believe it or not. And everywhere else, there's another problem too, like in the subscription. It ain't like $6 or $7 anymore, it's nearly double now, in just a few years. And do we get anything good out of it? Like, did they increase the things that they offered you as they increased the price? No. It actually was the opposite. We lost features. Fuck's the point of continuing with consoles? I don't even want to sum up the amount of money that I've spent on PlayStation Plus over the years, just so I could be allowed, fucking allowed, to every now and then play a measly hour or two of Rocket League or Battlefield or Call of Duty every other day. All that money I could have set aside to get a PC instead. When I was broke in school, my only avenue for getting a few extra games were used stores. For years, what I did was, I got like a PS4 game or two, I played them, I finished them, then I take them back to the store and use them as store credit to be able to afford another one or two with an added few extra bucks on top. For years, I couldn't build a physical library because I couldn't afford to keep the games that I loved. Then, finally, when I began getting some better footing, I started building building a modest library, and for what? Now we're getting that shit ripped away from us too. So again, what's the point of a console anymore? Why shouldn't I just take everything that I fucking have and, well, I'm not going to sell it. I'm not going to sell, so long as I have a console that plays my discs, I want to keep my discs. But what's the point of me continuing to buy a PS6 and to continue to buy games on that PS6? Why would I do that? The PC is cheaper. And what do these morons think that they're doing? Like, let's say kids now. But let's say kids that are now at school and they're in the same position that I was, where their only avenue to be able to engage with their hobby is to take their used games to a used store and trade them around so that they can keep playing some new stuff. What the fuck does Sony think is going to happen? Do they think that suddenly these kids that are now at school are going to, what, whip $60, $70, $80, $100 out of their ass to take to the digital store and buy games? They're just going to ditch your platform. I don't know where they're going to go. I hope they come to PC. That's the best place for them. But shit, they might not even go to PC. You may very well just be absolutely killing the gaming hobby as you drive more and more kids towards mobile gaming dog shit. One way or another, Sony is cooked. Once again, the question, what is the point of a console anymore? For years I kept telling myself, nah, I'll get a console, it's not as powerful, and it doesn't give me as many options, but at least it's more affordable, and I can have my games and put them on a nice shelf. What's the point of it now? What even differentiates consoles from PCs? Spoiler alert, fucking nothing. Except negatives. There isn't a single solitary positive thing about owning a console anymore. The games individually are more expensive. When there's sales on the console's online stores, the discounts are not as big as the ones on Steam. The ecosystem is more expensive because of that, plus because of basic subscriptions just to play online. You can't own your games anymore, you can't take advantage of used stores, you can't even lend games to your homies or your family members because everything will be zeros and ones totally locked onto your account. And boy oh boy, you better hope you never get hacked or anything like that, because let me tell you something fellas, this one's coming from experience. PlayStation support is fucking useless. You have zero alternative markets to buy from. You're locked into console's own inherent lack of versatility. If you're on PlayStation specifically, you have a parent company that doesn't respect digital ownership. They just nuked over 500 digital movie and TV show purchases that users made that will be deleted soon, and there's nothing that the users can do about it. And now, they're asking you to trust them with your digital games. And to top it all off, you're also subject to major changes that depend on that parent company's decisions. So, as an example, if Sony makes Concord and it costs some hundreds of millions of dollars that they just get nothing from, it's just pure, what's the opposite of profit? I don't even know. It's like 5 in the morning right now. I'm spacing out, but you get the point. It's the opposite of. They are hundreds of millions of dollars in the hole, so that puts them on the back foot. If they make Concord 2, aka Marathon, another game that is absolutely fumbling financially for them, they're even further on the back foot. If their other in-house studios keep making games that cost them way too much goddamn money to make for Sony's executives, like for example Spider-Man 2, which costs only like $315 million big ones, which the people at Sony over from Japan were not very happy with, you are subject to price increases across the entire platform as Sony tries their best to make their money back however they can. And it's the same with Xbox, of course. They make that abysmal purchase of Activision, it doesn't go well, so they're on the back foot. Then they make like 10 goddamn flops in a row. I've literally lost count by now. And what does it lead to? Well, it leads to where they're now, where they're increasing the Game Pass prices, the game prices, and the console prices because they need to desperately increase their money intake. So to put that into perspective, you are locked into an ecosystem where one thing starts to go wrong, you're already mad. It's like, damn dude, really, you're going to make Concord? I wanted a new single player game. Why are you making live services instead, right? So you're an unhappy customer. And now, as a consequence of Concord flopping, they're going to increase prices in some way or another that's going to make you even more unhappy. What a great ecosystem, huh? And to balance that out, what do we have? Exclusives? What exclusives? All these games they're making that pale in comparison to what they were making at their peak before they flooded their companies with Karens and soy boys who think the pinnacle of storytelling is a movie game with theater kid writing and sad music, or another game where they replace heroes we remember with a new cast of quirk chungus retard characters with green hair that I couldn't even try caring about. Or a talking cube, don't forget a talking cube, guys.
Place your soiled garments within me!
Listen up, everybody. I have some news. It's over. We are screwed.
What else is there? The price? Accessibility? Well shit, a few years ago I'd say you're right, because there was something truly advantageous about buying a console for, say, 400 to 500 bucks that would last you an entire generation, which is give or take 7 to 8 years. Even with the added money you're spending outside of that on a subscription to play online, which rounded up to, say, $60 to $80 per year, it was something fine for anyone who valued physical media and being also able to engage in the physical market where games are cheaper thanks to store sales and used games. But now, with consoles doubling in price, while at the same time in the last 7 to 8 years the subscription prices and game prices increased too, my dudes, price is not a console advantage anymore, and the much smarter decision that'll make you happier than I can even put into words is to save up for a PC and get one. Especially from PC stores. Like, don't buy no retail bullshit from some mega store, those are usually more expensive. Find a cool PC bro shop. They'll either have prefabricated ones that are cheaper, or they'll be able to put one together for you that saves you cash. I made that decision earlier this year. I don't have like a beast of a PC or anything like that, but I have something that runs everything that is current to a point that I am satisfied with and that should last me a good while. Returning to my old Steam account and seeing all the insane prices on sales and bundles inside has made me feel bad for taking so long and making this decision, because the amount of money I'm saving this year is nuts. Only thing that's pricier is buying brand new games, because most publishers don't do pre-order discounts or launch discounts on Steam. So if a publisher decides that they're launching a game for $70 or $80, that's the price on Steam, and there's nothing that I can do outside of going to different websites like G2A or whatever, but I don't usually do that. To be fair though, I haven't really been buying anything at launch. I've been playing so many older games that I don't even care about most of the releases this year. The only ones that I got were for console, which I got cheaper because of the physical market that's not going to be available to me next fucking year, or rather, no, yeah, next year. It's from 2028 forward, so basically, you know, even the upcoming PS5 exclusives like God of War Laufe, they're not going to be on disc. But anyway, losing track of what the fuck I was saying. Basically, I did buy a few games this year, like obviously I reviewed 007 First Light, for example, right? But for the most part, I haven't been doing that. I've been buying games from Steam sales and just building a really nice backlog of just older games, games I really want to replay, hidden gems, independent bangers, and other stuff that I really cannot wait to show you guys, because there's this illusion that the only games that you can play, you know, sometimes people have blinders on, where it's like the only games are the games that are coming out by the big publishers, and that's just not the case at all. There's so much good stuff for you guys to variate with, and that's usually what I do. All in all, guys, I don't want to turn this video into a PC, get a PC lecture, because I've been on the other side, where I was told stuff like this all the time, and I didn't get one because I did not have the money to put into one. All I had was an old Xbox 360 and a bunch of old Xbox 360 games, plus like $200 extra I scrounged up. So there was no PC alternative in my mind. That's when I got the PS4. Also, something that bothered me greatly about the PC platform was that we were in an age of constant graphical improvement. 2014 games looked better than 2013 games, 2015 games looked better than 2014, 2016 better than 15, 17 better than 16, so on so forth. So I had this nightmare in my head where it was like, shit, I'll spend like what, 1,000 euros right now on a PC, and then in 2 years I gotta spend another 200 or 300 in a new graphics card or whatever, or more RAM? Hell no. I'll take the $400 console, thank you very much. And I can't really blame my past self for that either. But all of this has changed now. Graphical improvements have slowed down by a lot, and thank God for that too. We don't need that shit making mid-games launch at $80 because, ooh, look at the graphics, while driving up system requirements. And of course, consoles have changed a lot. They genuinely used to be all about serving gamers. The attitude of the PlayStation and the Xbox back in the good old days, where serving gamers was not a dirty word like it is now. Oh man, oh my, I wish we could go back. More than anything, I wish we could go back, but we're not going to. It's over, it genuinely is. This corporatism took over and it's gone now. It's funny how you can even notice this kind of shift in little things like the UI, the user experience on consoles. Like seriously, it sounds silly and anecdotal, but think about it. UIs used to be designed to look cool, dynamic, and vibrant, fun, and they were modular and interchangeable too. You want to change colors? Change colors. You want to change backdrop? Change backdrop. You want to change icons? Change the icons. You want to change the sound that it plays when you click or browse? Change the sound. You want to put some nice soundtrack playing in the background? Do it. You do anything, you personalize your console your way. But now it seems that the very word your is a dirty one in the vocabulary of these companies. They don't want you to treat your console like it's your console, or your games like they're your games. They want every aspect of your experience to be as cold and detachable as possible, so they can further ingrain into you how you're nothing more than a renter, and everything they decide to push against you is just something that you signed into when you bought the product. And man, the rabbit hole goes even deeper, to be honest, because there's been buzz about even completely ending the manufacturing of consoles and PC components so that gamers all migrate to subscription-based cloud gaming, where we just pick a game from a digital library like Netflix and just stream the game in real time to just a screen without any use of a PC or a console. This is all brought up and proposed to us in a nice, cute, and innovative way, you know? Like all this waffling from Asha Sharma, the new head at Xbox, or this tech pro YouTuber or whatever she is in a post she made just a few days ago that also got a bunch of people, you know, who create a little bit of controversy surrounding it. It's all centered on how expensive memory is right now, and graphics cards, and just computer components in general. So gaming is supposedly just naturally becoming way too expensive for the end user to own their own machines and to own their own games. Basically, ownership is too expensive. It's not economically viable. But the truth behind all of this is the same trap as where you buy a console thinking that it's cheaper than a PC, and then your costs on that console's ecosystem end up surpassing the costs of buying the PC. These people aren't looking to save you money. They're looking to change the game where you end up giving them more and more of your money month after month. They want to digitally enslave you basically, because saving up and buying a PC is a literal representation of freedom. You basically buy a machine once and then you buy whatever games you want individually and use them whenever you want without further monetization. We keep being force-fed this shit narrative where we're supposed to adapt to the future with streaming services that are cheaper than PC components or consoles and cheaper than the $70 to $80 plus asking price of a game. It's like it's a favor for us, when in reality, not a single fucking time has this industry ever done a favor to anyone. What these publishers, companies, and tech pros want is absolute control over the market and media distribution, which will generate far more money for them than having gamers taking advantage of sales or the various games that they have in a backlog or enjoy replaying every now and then, or just play slowly because they have jobs. And so it takes them a little while longer to beat like an RPG, for instance. Again, you buy the game once. Doesn't matter if it takes you 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, 6 months. Shit, you can spend a whole fucking year trying to beat Dark Souls. It doesn't matter. You bought it once. You paid once. They don't want that. They want you to be stuck playing Dark Souls for 12 months while paying for each of that 12 months. So how about no? How about that future? We didn't ask for all the bloat that is making it impossible for publishers, attention here fellas, publishers, not us, to sustain themselves in the games industry by just making video games we want to play, rather than the live service slop fests or the sanitized brave and stunning garbage that they want us to consume. Nobody's asking them to corporatize themselves and pump themselves up full of employees who aren't doing anything related to the games themselves. Just run yourselves as a normal game studio. Down with their bloat. We don't want it, we didn't ask for it, we didn't need to see the pores on a character's nose or peach fuzz on their ass cheeks. We don't need John Hollywood doing the full performance capture. We don't need a full department to make sure that the game doesn't offend XYZ people. It's time to flip it on them. If they can't sustain it themselves, then it's time to pack up and close the doors, or I don't know, do a big round of layoffs. Don't fire 20% of your company, or 40 or 50 or 60. Fire 80 and start over. Because making money in this industry really is not that hard. They want to make you believe that it is. They want to pretend like suddenly in a single generation, gaming went from perfectly fine where we could all just own a console, own a PC and own a game, to now nobody can own anything because it's all too expensive. They want us to believe that between 2020 and 2026, that's it. It all came crashing down. But that's a big, fat stack of bullshit. Nothing's stopping them from emulating what Sandfall Interactive did last year. They just made an interesting game with about 30 people and less than $10 million in budget. Then, from that, they generated $400 million in game sales alone. And that is so far, because the game is only like a year and a couple of months old. And that game wasn't sold at $70 or $80. It was $50. Success in this industry doesn't require us to get nickel and dime. It doesn't require us to abdicate of all ownership and become goddamn digital slaves. Anyone who wants success in this industry can get it. They just need to stop being straight up retarded and greedy. It's as simple as that, and anything else is scope. I don't want to hear it. I genuinely don't. These fucking companies crying. Market conditions. Market conditions? What? Because nobody's buying your games? Have you tried to figure out why? Oh, what? Because your budgets are too big? Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Fire everybody. Get rid of everybody. I don't give a f***. Don't come packing at my wallet. Fire everybody. Get rid of all those retards that you got in your studios and your corporations and start making games. If you can't do it, hey, McDonald's is hiring, buddy. Though I wouldn't really hire you over there either, to be honest with you. I really wouldn't. I mean, you'd be employed to turn a profit from cheeseburgers and you'd find a way to somehow make that industry crash too. This is also why Steam is constantly under attack in courts, being called a monopoly, by the way. It's not because they are a monopoly, it's because these elites that try to sue them know that Valve is its own thing, so they're a big threat. They don't have a way to wiggle their scams into the platform. It's because if you got a PC and you got a few platforms on PC like Steam that let you keep on buying and accessing games, you're always going to be able to ignore whatever crap they pull. You're always going to be able to have an alternative. They saw how hard Stadia failed and they're afraid of that. They're afraid that they're going to make that one big push where suddenly new big titles from all the main publishers, you know, like EA, Ubisoft, 2K, etc., will be exclusive to whatever cloud streaming services they launch, without putting them for sale traditionally, like one game, one copy. And they're afraid that you, as a gamer, with your own PC and a storefront that still has a bunch of games that you can buy and a library of purchases that you can access at any time, are just going to ignore them and keep playing your backlog while their house is on fire. This is the direction that they're going, because to these companies, a gamer that sticks to his backlog of games that he got like 5 years ago on a Steam sale or whatever, while waiting for their next big AAA launches to go down in price, or to just release on Steam if they're exclusive somewhere else first, is something that they will never accept. They whittle down physical ownership to nothing. Next, they're coming for your digital licenses. Digital licenses that you think are safe because, oh, company number 1 would never do this. It would be stupid of them to do so. People would just drop them for company number 2. Except in the meantime, they absorbed company number 2, 3, 4, and 5 and drove companies 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 out of business. The truth is, we are running out of ground. They know that. That's their plan. Less options, less alternatives, and more of a defeated attitude that makes us just give up and go, oh screw it, I guess I'll just buy the subscription anyway, just like Xbox wanted you guys to buy their Game Pass bullshit when they hiked up the price to $80. They were like, well, yes, our prices need to be increased because of market conditions, but there's still the Game Pass. This is deliberate, fellas, so the least we can do is act in our own way, make noise and raise awareness. We may not be able to change their minds, but we can sure as fuck open some more people's eyes. They're already damaged. In fact, all this that they're doing, this isn't because these companies are logging record revenues. All this is happening because they're wounded. All their bullshit decisions of the past few years are catching up to them hard. And this is like a wounded animal scraping to survive. And if you are just more patient and smarter with your money, their shit isn't going to work. They're so close to an industry crash, it ain't even funny. Actually, it's beyond funny. It's gleeful for me personally. But anyway, that's enough rambling for now. That's all I had to rant about today, fellas. I hope it wasn't a bore fest. Back to more regular, humorous, and discussion-filled topics soon. Thanks for watching regardless though. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, and I'll see you then. Take care.